For more on the situation on the ground in Gaza, we're joined now by Dr. Haleh Sheikholeslami. She is a family physician from the Bay Area of California who was in Gaza earlier this month treating patients and had trouble getting back to the United States after weeks on the ground there. Dr. Haleh, thank you so much for being here tonight and to share some of what you have witnessed during your time on the ground inside of Gaza. Let's start there. For people who have never been to Gaza or who maybe don't have friends who are there, talk to us about what it is like to be inside of Gaza right now. A contact I have constantly tells me that every day he feels like he makes a choice. Do I die inside of my house with bombardments, or do I die on the streets waiting to try and get food? How would you describe it?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I think in the time that I was there, certainly things changed, evolved. The Gazans in Rafah were having a new norm of living their lives, and then the borders closed, and that led to changes of what they were. Obviously, normal is not normal, but what they were trying to live their lives, and it is a situation where it's critical, and unfortunately, every Gazan probably knows someone who has died there.
You know, throughout this war, we have seen and heard about the injuries that many civilians are experiencing, oftentimes children, just from initial explosions of aerial bombardment, shrapnel injuries, things like that. But then as this has progressed, we've also heard from the UN and other agencies that more and more bacterial infections are spreading among the population as well. What were some of the illnesses you were treating while you were there, and what challenges were you facing as you tried to treat people who needed care?
Yes, as a family physician, I was doing outpatient work in Tel Al Sultan Clinic and dealing with a lot of infectious diseases. That's the acute diarrhea, hepatitis A, upper respiratory illnesses, things that you would see normally in any population, just more acute, more intense. And then on top of that, trying to deal with the elderly with their chronic illnesses and the medications they had to, try to get to treat their hypertension and diabetes.
Let's talk a little bit about your way in and how you were ultimately able to get out. You were supposed to leave on May 15th, but I understand you ended up staying more than a week after that date because you weren't able to leave. Talk to us about that process and how were you able to eventually get out?
About a week after I entered Gaza was when the borders were closed to everyone, not just Gazans who were, on the waiting list to evacuate from, necessary medical or surgical reasons, but also for all of us, all the foreign nationals who were trying to leave. So it became a dire situation. We waited patiently. We had to work with the United Nations, the WHO, as we were under their protection while we were in Gaza, and also the Israeli authorities to ensure our safety out.
You know, I spent the first month of the war reporting on the border with Gaza. I've been in other conflict zones. And for me, that moment of finally leaving, even when I know I'm tired and need to go home, is difficult because I always think about how many people I've met and know who aren't able to leave. Did you have that same experience? How difficult was it for you, particularly as a medical professional, to leave and know that there were people there who still don't have the resources or care or basic things they need to survive?
That's really important. It was very bittersweet. I mean, I was privileged that I could go. There were a majority of people, the Gazans specifically, are not able to leave. And so when I left a lot of people I got to know at the clinic, in our organization, and the other NGOs. I left everybody behind in hopes that they will be all safe. And know that not everybody has the privilege to leave when they can.
And very quickly before we let you go, that facility you mentioned that you were working at, is it still operating? What is it like now?
Just last night, I saw the videos of the bombings and the fire that took place near there. And I saw a clip of bodies that were laid out covered with white cloth right in front of the room that I worked at. It was very shocking to see. This is the area. I was just there a few days ago, and now they had to use it more as a morgue.
So where they were treating patients, they are now trying to identify bodies. Dr. Haleh Sheikholeslami, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you for your work and what you do. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.